I made this asset pack for making your own lens flares. You can download it from the link in the description. The idea was to give you the flexibility that you get from lens flare creation softwares, but most lens flare creation softwares cost money, whereas this one is free. Now you do need a DeviantArt account to download it. Unfortunately, that's just the way DeviantArt downloads work. If you really don't like DeviantArt, you can just make an account and then delete it afterwards, I guess. So here you can see the banner for the asset pack. Uh, these lens flares were all created using different assets that we have in the pack. So there are 40 flare overlays, basically overlays for different parts of the flare. And there are 10 LUTs that you can use to get these colors. As you can see, here's one of the flares in the banner. Uh, you can see that it was put together with different components. So you can customize it and get rid of certain elements or replace them. And that's the best thing about this pack, really. You can get looks that are good for you. Um, it's really customizable. We can add our own filters along to this if we'd like. So you can really do a lot with this. And as you can see, we colorized it using one of the LUTs from the pack. So let's go through an example. Usually what I like to do uh, at the beginning when I'm trying to make a flare is I'll put guides where the flare at the light source, so where the lens flare needs to be centered, and then I'll make a group with blend mode linear dodge, and I can put all my lens flare layers inside of here. So let's drag on some assets. So here's one of the assets in the shimmers folder. It's number 1, and I can just put it over the lamp. One thing I like to do with this shimmer is adding Radial Blur with mode zoom, and I can kinda stretch the rays out like that. Now it's kinda hard to get the center right. What I can do is drag this back to the center of the document. This should be good. And then add the Radial Blur. Increase the amount. This will just make the rays bigger without making the core bigger. And then I can put it over the light source again and maybe resize it. So it's really all up to you. I also like adding a streak. For example, streak 1, I can just put it over. Now as you can see, the groups blend mode is linear dodge, but the layers blend mode is normal, so it's covering up the layer below. We can just fix that by changing its blend mode to screen. And then you can also combine different assets. So I just put on streak number 1, and I can also put streak number 6 over streak number 1 just to make a more interesting effect. Alright, now I can add another a component over that. I like having some lens orbs, kind of helps sell the effect. I'll choose lens orbs component, lens orbs asset number 9, and just put it over the light. As you can see, it adds this pretty interesting lens effect. Kind of helps sell the flare a little more. And then in the irises folder, there are some things that I can just drop over it, add some more just components that go out of the flare, like that. Now, if you want multiple of these iris components, I'd recommend actually waiting before you rotate them. So basically, put the assets where they need to be. Like, I'll add on number 10 and maybe number 8. And what I'll actually do is, maybe I'll make this smaller, but what I'll actually do is link these two iris layers, and then I can rotate them both at once, and also maybe make them small, just like that. And then now to add some color, we can use the Colorization Luts. I'll import all of the LUTs first, and then make a new color lookup adjustment layer, clip it to the group with the flare layers, and I can just choose different styles. And if you have a coloring that you like, but it's not quite right, you can further adjust that. Maybe I can lower the saturation on this one. And that's about it. That's just a really quick way to make a lens flare. And as you can see there, you have a lot of flexibility with this. And you can also use the colorization LUTs for things that aren't lens flares. Let me find, for example, a shock wave effect, and then I can use the colorization LUTs on this also. And just open it real quick. I can have a color lookup adjustment layer, and then just choose one, just like that. This is better than just, for example, using a hue and saturation adjustment layer, because hue and saturation only lets you pick one color. But with these LUTs, you can see there are more complex colors, like more redder in the shadows and more yellow in the highlights. You can see the same thing happening with the blues. And of course you have things like egg, where there are completely different colors, and stadium as well. And there's also a contrast LUT. We can also use it for this image. Okay, just duplicate the color lookup table and use the contrast. Yeah, that's about it for this video. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I hope you give the pack a try and tell me what you think.